So this morning's breakfast with TNC is actually before 6:30. Success. Hey, what is going on, guys? TalkNorwichCity City here, back for another episode of Breakfast with TNC. Big episode today, lots of news, an absolute pucker breakfast, I must admit. We've got scrambled egg and beans and sausage on toast. It is very hard to cook like a cooked breakfast, not a full cooked breakfast, but it's hot, so I'm counting it as cooked whilst filming it. So yeah, I'm going to eat this because it's going to go cold and I'm absolutely ravenous. Play some reggae, I'll speak in a minute.
Can't feel no way though, music I play though, fry fish, bobby to me thing. Man celebrate life, happy me living. Man elevate height, rabbit in me scene. Man set the pace like, graceful and fight for the first place prize. No bill for the work, man, happy to the...
There we go, Jeremy Loop's playing while I eat breakfast. Let's shut that down. That was bloody beautiful. Yes, it was. I know I'm going to have a lot of criticism saying, oh, you're a traitor on the ketchup. Now let me speak about why I used brown sauce today. So, I always have brown sauce with eggs, red sauce with like bacon and sausages. I don't know why. It just works for me. The more pungent taste of brown sauce complements the eggs nicer, I think, than having the quite sometimes sour brown sauce with the sometimes bitter bacon. Just putting it out there. Also, pork sausages in the beans. I have two guilty pleasures in life. Pork sausages with beans, like the really cheap, not cheap, but they're definitely not sausage. They're kind of like in the shape of a sausage and they call them sausage, but they're not sausage. And Iggy Azalea. They're my two guilty pleasures in life. Anyway, let's get into the news. That's probably what you're all here for, not to watch me eat my food. The first bit of news is that Martin Olsson and Graham Dorran's back to boost Norwich City. Now, I actually said in my predicted 11, which went up yesterday, that Martin Olsson was out for 3 games. Apparently not. Apparently it was a 1-game ban. I assumed that a straight red was a 3-game ban. Clearly not. So that's brilliant news to have Olsson back in after a new contract as well. So hopefully he'll be playing really well. Huge to have Graham Dorran's back in there. Although to be fair, against Derby, the midfield had a bit of bite. It really did. Without Graham Dorran's, but I can't see Malumbu keeping it up again. If Louis Thompson's back as well, that'll be absolutely fantastic. It says here midfielder Louis Thompson could also be back in contention after working on his match fitness. Ivor Pinto continues to be assessed on a groin problem, and obviously Howson and Jarvis are both out. Now, I'm pretty sure when it first came out, Pinto was meant to be out for a couple of weeks. I've already said this in my predicted 11, but Pinto was meant to be out for a few weeks. He's been out for about a month. Howson should be back around now if it was the 2-month mark. Jarvis should have been back a while back. So what's happening to these players? The next bit of news on the EDP, Sebastian Bassong backed clever, really understanding Norwich City to buck the football trend over Alex Neil in Championship clash when Brentford comes into view. So, Sebastian Bassong basically saying that we've been right so far to keep hold of Alex Neil despite the 6 straight defeats. Sebastian Basong says, in football, the manager pays for the players' mistakes, which is an interesting point, saying that the players are guilty, mainly Sebastian Basong. No, that's harsh. He hasn't really played. That's how the football industry is. But I think it's shown in the past that Norwich is a really clever, understanding club. The manager is the right man for the job. We went through a bad time. We're now on the way back up, and the season is long. You know that. I know that. And in a couple of games, we're not going to be talking about it anymore, because I know in a couple of games things are going to be totally different. So I'll see you there. Sebastian Basong with bold comments saying Alex Neil's the right man for the job and we're going to turn this around. I bloody hope so. I see this as Sebastian Basong backing Alex Neil, because if another manager comes in, he's going to be nowhere near the first team. And Alex Neil is throwing him in some games. So, you know, who knows? Who knows? Let's hope that we do go up, like Sebastian Basong says. On the Evening News, Paddy Davitt, great article here. Alex Pritchard has the quality to step out of Wes Hoolahan's shadow at Norwich City. I've spoken about this on my predicted 11. Seems like I've kind of spoken about all of this on my predicted 11. But Alex Pritchard is a man who should be getting in this Norwich City team, whether that be out on the left wing, in the central attacking midfield position, or anywhere. He should be getting in this team. He's good enough. We paid a lot of money for him, and the bits we've seen from him this season, he's looked really, really good. He's 23 years old. You know, he's got championship experience for Brentford. This guy should be getting in this team. Whether I mean, I've saw a bit of criticism for Wes Hoolahan on Twitter this morning. I disagree with that. I think Wes Hoolahan's been huge for Norwich City this season. His assists, his goals, that one against Rotherham really sticks out to me. But I think Wes Hoolahan is still an instrumental player for Norwich City and will be in a lot of these games this season. But in the more physical, the more demanding ones, I think Pritchard should be the man instead of Wes. You've got to be very... you've got to pick and choose where Wes Hoolahan plays. He's not going to be able to play twice a week. We know, or 3 times a week. We know that. But he will be able to orchestrate games and win games for us in some of them. So you've got to pick and choose with Wes Hoolahan. I think Alex Pritchard was brought in for the long-term replacement of Wes Hoolahan. As well as that, you've got Maddison, obviously. You've got Canos, who can maybe play in that role. So we've got decent replacements there. Let's hope that Wes can continue to teach Pritchard all of his knowledge. And let's hope Pritchard can break through in the next couple of months this season coming up. And finally, a lovely bit of news this. There'll be a minute's silence held before the Brentford game to remember the Chapenaise players who died tragically in that plane crash. I couldn't believe the news when I saw it. It was one of them news stories where you just can't get your head around, and I still can't get my head around it. If you don't know, if you've been sleeping under a rock, basically a Brazilian team were on their way to a cup final, and their plane crashed, killing pretty much the whole squad, including journalists, coaches, players, everyone. 77 people were on that plane. I think only about 3 of them escaped and didn't die, which is with only 6 people on board surviving. So 71 people died in that tragic plane crash. Brilliant little gesture that from Norwich City. All of the players will be wearing black armbands as well. I think in moments like this, it shows that football isn't just a game, and it's more than a game. You know, the whole of the football community, the whole world has joined as one to try and back is it Chapecoense? I'm not very good at Brazilian pronunciation, as you can probably tell, but you know, absolutely tragic stuff, and it's good to see that Norwich are acknowledging that but by having that minute silence. Anyway, big game coming up tomorrow. It's also my birthday. Please win on my birthday, Norwich. Killer breakfast this morning. Some lovely news to get the day started. Also, got some new merch on sale. I've got a Wesley Hoolahan poster, which is £8. And you can also pick up the Tim Close shirts and also the Wes Hoolahan shirts. They have restocked. Very limited stock though, so go and get yours now. Links in the description. And as always, a massive thank you to the Acle Bridge Inn for sponsoring Breakfast with TNC. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible. So big thanks to them. Big thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.
Once upon a time, a fairy